This president has fired more veterans than any other president in history. They are gutting the VA. They're cutting back on veterans' benefits.
That's Jason Crow, a congressman from Colorado, but a Wisconsin native born and raised. And he has been in Donald Trump's crosshairs when it comes to military matters. He was campaigning in the Chippewa Valley to talk to veterans who may have supported President Trump and Congressman Derrick Van Orden in the past, but things have certainly changed.
I'm a combat veteran, three-time combat veteran. I served in Iraq and Afghanistan as a paratrooper and an Army Ranger. And me and fellow veterans in Congress, we filmed a video last year that just said, hey, if you're in the service, you're in the military, you have to abide by your oath. You have to follow the law, which should come as no surprise to a military person, right? You learn this in boot camp, you learn this before deployment, like this is basic military stuff. President didn't like it. He accused us of treason. He threatened to have us hung. And 2 weeks ago, he actually tried to throw me and the others in prison, tried to indict us before a grand jury. They failed. They're always going to fail. I'm not going to back down from my duty and my obligation, and we're going to continue to just take our case on the road and get the job done.
What is your message specifically to veterans in the 3rd Congressional District? They hear Derrick Van Orden talking about his service, but how is it that you want them to consider this race?
Listen, a lot of people like to thank veterans for service. When I got back from Iraq and Afghanistan, people liked to thank me for my service. And I appreciated that, and I always do, but I think it's really important when you're talking about elected officials and leaders. You don't listen to what they say, look at their votes. And there is a sacred promise that we make to our veterans and to our military families that if you raise your right hand, you take that oath, you're willing to give your life for this country, that our nation will stand by you. And I just will not tolerate people that slash the VA budget. This president has fired more veterans than any other president in history. They are gutting the VA. They're cutting back on veterans' benefits. And here there was actually a veterans' home that was essential to this community. Derrick Van Orden had the ability to apply for federal funds to keep that home open, and he refused to do it. So listen, talk is cheap, right? We got to bring money to our veterans. We got to fulfill our promise.